welcome to right or wrong. Late night question, real life answers, their hearts exposed. Truth gets louder, we don't run from the uncomfortable. We lean and let it get vulnerable. Love, pain, choices, pride, two perspectives, one night. Somebody right, somebody's wrong, but the conversation still goes on.
So today's topic, we are going to be talking about how we balance marriage and careers.
Okay. Balancing careers and
Marriage.
okay, all right. Let's wind that back again. Okay. Balancing marriage. The reason I was thinking about it, I was thinking about business, career, and marriage. But I mean, either or. I mean, we still
We
get
can
to
do that
all right.
because we do have a business.
And I try to make it easy.
And you actually are an entrepreneur, so you own your stuff versus me, I have a career.
Well, we own our stuff.
Yes, well, you know what I mean.
So we're gonna call it, and I try to go
Business,
from the
career.
smallest alphabet, like from the beginning. So it's like business, career, and marriage. You know, it just makes it easier to remember. But yeah, that's what we're talking about today: business, career, and marriage.
All right. So what's the business that we are balancing with our career and marriage?
Well, I mean, the big thing right now is the transportation business. You know, it keeps me pretty busy.
Tell me more about this transportation business.
Well, you know, we have a luxury transportation business where we provide transportation. I mean, Houston is huge. Definitely the airport runs, the casino runs, the winery runs. So it keeps me pretty busy.
So you don't have consistent hours.
No, it fluctuates.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I like about being in business. It's not like a set time. And, you know, just me working in corporate America, I just got to the point where I was exhausted knowing that every day I was working like a 9 to 5. And it got to the point where I knew exactly where I was going to be at every day at 9:15.
So you like flexibility.
Yes, I like flexibility.
How does that affect our marriage though? Because you've got different hours. Sometimes you're coming in late, sometimes early, sometimes I miss you. I don't get to see you at night before I go to bed. So how do we balance that?
Communication. A lot of times we would have something set up about what we want to do. And then also as an entrepreneur, the good thing is that you don't have to always do the work. You can always have someone do the work for you. And that's where, exactly. And that's where the key part about being an entrepreneur, because I always say that you're only as good as who you hire.
Yeah.
So while we are out enjoying ourselves, there's always someone who can help the load while we get to enjoy ourselves. So when we talk about flexibility, I think that is important because if I knew in advance how my schedule is set, I can make arrangement so me and you can have our quality time. Because of course, with us being newlyweds, we don't want to forget what got us to the point that we're at now. And you have to make time. That's why dating each other is always important. You know, when I tell somebody, hey, I'm about to go out on a date, you know, they be like, oh, y'all just met? Like, no, that's my wife. You know, so some people who's been married for so long, they forget that. They get so complacent about their marriage and their relationship that they forget to date. In order for a relationship to be successful, you have to date that person. You have to look at that person like this is your first date. You have to have that lust in your eye like, oh, this person, hell, they turned me on. We about to go back over to, actually our house and not a hotel. And, you know, it's just, you have to have fun.
Yeah.
Also, you have to be best friends. Also, you have to talk about what it is that you got going on in that business just so that person can understand. Because a lot of times when you're in a relationship and to have that balance, you have to be able to talk to this person like as if they're your friend. Because once again, you can get into a relationship, you can get so comfortable with talking with other people, and you never even ran the idea with your significant other. And before you know it, without knowing it, They're not in none of the conversation or none of the business decision because you're so used to talking to your friend and not your significant other. And you're not doing it to be disrespectful. You just got too complacent.
That I want to kind of back up a little bit because that's important. So each of us, obviously, when we get home from work, we want to share things that occurred at work or talk about the business. And so it's important that we have each other to talk to and listen to when it comes to, okay, my day was X, Y, and Z, and tell me what your day looked like. I think that's important too for people to do when it comes to balancing those careers, because everybody comes home from work and they're like, oh my God, I had the worst day. And it's important that your spouse listens to you about your day and that it's equally, because both of us may have had a bad day. So sometimes it's like, I have to absorb what you're going through, especially when it comes to owning your own business and listening to that, and then unpack mine later. Because sometimes I'm like, I had a bad day too, but I'll save mine for later. So, I mean, and we check on each other throughout the day. You know, how's your day going? And typically I'm talking to you on my way home, which brings me to the point. So I switched facilities, I guess, organizations recently. So my hours are actually better.
Okay.
The drive isn't better, but the hours are better. And I think it's a lot less responsibility. And so it has really kind of, I think, improved things when it comes to my stress level. And so that was really, really a difficult time for me. You were really good standing by my side through that and helping me when I get home kind of relax and making sure that I was okay. So this is really good and refreshing because now I feel like I don't have that stress that I was carrying.
Now, was it the melting hug that helped you a lot?
It was a lot of things. I like that you know when to slow down and read and go, okay, my baby's stressed. I need to do this for her. Whether it's, hey, babe, do you want me to bring home a daiquiri? Or, hey, babe, how about we just order out today? Or come here, put these leg things on and let it massage your legs. Or let me give you a massage. You are very, very good about reading what you can do to help me through. Because a lot of times we don't know as people that what we need. Sometimes we don't know. We just keep going and going and going. And in our head, we're like, I'm exhausted. I'm tired. But sometimes we forget that there's somebody else to pick that up for us and take some of that load off of us. And I don't mean financially. I mean stress. Like I said, babe, come here. Just sit down for 20 minutes or talk to me. Tell me how your day was. What are you thinking? So I think that's where that balance comes.
Yeah, it's definitely important because, again, we all get caught up into this thing called life. And the word we always use is life be lifing. But along with life be lifing, we still have to remember the little small things that got us to where we're at today. So again, that's just important. Just staying focused, just staying focused and remembering why you both are where you're at right now. And think about the reasons you got here, what got you here. And it was always the little things. For me, in relationships, yes, you can get, a brand new car, or house, or whatever. But what really got you there is the small stuff. Yeah. Small stuff equals big things. Yeah. So, I always say, and then again, stop thinking about yourself sometimes. You have to put yourself in the other person's shoe. And I think we talked about this not too long ago. It was someone was having some issues in a relationship, and then that person wasn't thinking about that person, they was only thinking about themselves. But when you put yourself in that person's shoe, you'll be like, wow, I didn't think about it like that. Yeah. So we always have to think, especially when you're in a relationship, it ain't no more about how I feel. Right. It's about how we feel or how she feels, because you want the same type of energy, And I think we are good at feeding off of each other's energy,
I think the other important part of that too is that we are social media, involved in social media, content creators, and that's a whole nother side of balancing business, career, and the marriage, because
Yes.
we're in the limelight, so we have to deal with a lot of content that we have to create. Also, the feedback, which we don't really worry about the feedback so much anymore. And so, but there's a whole nother side of that, because we have to be careful, because, you know, social media is social media.
Yeah.
So that also brings a different aspect into how we balance the marriage, and making sure that we stay safe, if you will, in our content that we are creating, and making sure that we have a safe space at home
Oh yeah.
for both of us, because sometimes we know social media, what do they call them, trolls, social media trolls, say a lot of negative things or assume things, and most of it we don't pay attention to be honest. We just we say sip our tea and move on, but that is a different balancing act.
I think for you, to me, my observation is that it may have gotten overwhelmed for you. And one of the things that I've been telling you, because I've been doing this for so long, that not only you have to have thick skin, which you really don't really worry about too much, but I told you that sometimes you can't pay attention to those comments. For me, and it's hard. I mean, when you think about it, like 3, sometimes 4 or 5,000 comments, that's a full-time job to sit there and read that. The only time I really see something, if somebody screenshots something and then send it to me, because I don't have that kind of time. And for me, ever since I've been on social media, I'm about positivity. You ain't gonna never see me talk negativity. I'm always doing something that's going to uplift and encourage others. So do I have the time to go back and forth with somebody? Nah. You know, now we face to face, then we can talk about what it is that we need to talk about. But for the most part, you know, I'm a big guy. Man, I'm gonna let you talk, you know, because again, we call them internet bullies. I don't worry about that, man. You know, life is too short to be anything else but happy. And I'm not gonna let somebody who I don't even know take my energy. And first of all, if you are upset about something on social media about what somebody said and you don't want to stroll past it, then that means technically I own you because I'm in your head.
Rent free.
Rent free. Rent free.
I did read a lot of them, but I'm a comment reader. So I like to read comments, more so to laugh. So I'm looking at other people's content and I'm like, oh my God, did you see what that person said? I read it for that. But when it's directed towards you and it's not very nice, that can hurt sometimes. But I have very thick skin. I tell people all the time, because of my job, I have developed some very thick skin, so it doesn't bother me most of the time. But when you call me out, that bothers me because you don't know my integrity, you don't know how I am morally. So if you don't know me, that kind of bothers me because I'm like, now you're talking directly at me, and I don't like that because you don't know what you're talking about. But if you're saying in general stuff, that really doesn't bother me.
Well, you know how I feel about it. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so I mean, again, I think
So-
this is a topic that needed to be told when it comes to business, career, and marriage, or some people not married, business, career, or relationship.
Yeah.
It's important. And I just think that when you in a relationship or a marriage, when you think about the other person and not thinking about yourself, I feel like you'll be more successful.
So let's kind of recap. Talk about the top, let's say 5 things that we talked about that are key things that are important. So we say communication,
Oh, yes.
okay? And we say dating each other is
Yes.
important.
Yes.
And we say, what else?
Putting the other person's feelings first. Or how should I word it? Don't think about yourself.
Well, you said put yourself in their shoes.
Oh, there you go. So that would be 3. Put yourself in their shoes.
Okay. So what else?
4. Man.
I would say 4, a key point was when you both have something going on at work that day,
Yes.
but that kind of falls under communication. So maybe just 3 things. So communication, dating, and putting yourself in the other person's
I mean, if
shoes.
you want to add this for 5, like throughout the day, sometimes just text that person. And we talked about this too. Sometimes the text or a call only takes like 10 seconds. But text that person and just say, hey, just to let you know, I'm thinking about you.
You do that a lot.
Yeah,
You do.
it's-
Sometimes it's just TOU.
Yeah.
But it makes me smile because it just makes me feel safe. It makes me feel that you're thinking about me, and that I know I have somebody at home that's supportive
Mhm.
of my day.
Yeah.
So
Okay. All right. Well, again, we want to thank you guys for tuning into the Right or Wrong podcast show. You can check us out on social media, all social media platforms. You can check us out on our YouTube channel as well as the Right or Wrong podcast with Rico and Mo. Thank you.